The Indo-Pacific is entering a new era of geopolitical friction, defined not just by the intensifying rivalry between the United States and China, but by the rise of middle powers repositioning themselves in this evolving strategic chessboard. At the heart of this tension lies the South China Sea, where Beijing continues to aggressively assert its sweeping nine-dash-line claims, in blatant defiance of a 2016 international arbitral ruling that invalidated them under international law. In this volatile and contested seascape, the Philippines is no longer content to be a passive observer. It is emerging as a proactive force, revamping its military doctrine, enhancing its alliance structures, and fortifying its maritime capabilities. This marks a historic strategic reorientation. After decades of internal security being the top defense priority, Manila is now turning its gaze outward. The shift is formalized under the Comprehensive Archipelagic Defense Concept, CADC, a bold new framework designed to secure the nation's extensive maritime domain and prepare for modern external threats. As Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. stated in early 2024, the CADC is based on the reality that, as an archipelagic state, the Philippines has limited land territory but a rapidly growing population, leading to an exponential increase in resource demands. In essence, defending the seas is no longer optional. It is existential. Anchored in this doctrine is a renewed commitment to safeguarding the country's exclusive economic zone, EEZ, in the West Philippine Sea, while also contributing to broader regional deterrence. From new military bases to joint exercises with allies, every move signals the Philippines' intent to shape, not merely survive, the emerging order in the Indo-Pacific. In doing so, Manila is not just defending its borders, it is redefining its role as a frontline state in the global struggle for maritime freedom, sovereignty, and balance of power. For decades, the armed forces of the Philippines, known as the AFP, has been shaped by an internal focus. Battling long-standing insurgencies and domestic terrorism consumed much of its resources and attention. But in doing so, it left the nation vulnerable to a growing reality. External threats were no longer distant concerns. They were at its shores. Underinvestment and outdated equipment hampered readiness. While regional tensions escalated, particularly in the South China Sea, the AFP found itself ill-equipped to respond. That changed dramatically in recent years. Provocative actions, such as China's use of water cannons near Philippine-held reefs and the deployment of intimidating Coast Guard vessels, sent shockwaves through Manila and its allies. These weren't just diplomatic incidents, they were wake-up calls. The response was swift and decisive. Under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the Philippines committed to a new era of defense transformation.
The threat has grown. And since the threat has grown, we must do more to defend our territory. And so maybe perhaps that's what people are seeing is that a more robust defense of our territorial rights as recognized by the international community through international law.
For 2025, defense spending reached a historic 271.9 billion pesos, nearly 4.65 billion US dollars, with a 12.3% increase from the previous year. Of that, at least 35 billion pesos is dedicated to modernization, with another 40 billion pesos earmarked pending economic performance. President Marcos made the vision clear, transforming the AFP into a world-class force. Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. echoed the urgency. We must re-establish effective deterrence against destabilizing threats in the Indo-Pacific. Naval expansion is at the heart of this transformation. From South Korea, the Philippines is acquiring 2 missile-capable corvettes and 6 offshore patrol vessels. These join the already commissioned Jose Rizal-class frigates, marking a new chapter in maritime capability. And for the first time in decades, submarines are back on the agenda. Under the Horizon 3 program, the AFP is set to acquire 2 diesel-electric submarines, with an estimated budget of 80 to 110 billion Filipino pesos. In the skies, the AFP is building tactical dominance. The FA-50 fleet continues to expand, complemented by the addition of A-29B Super Tucano attack aircraft. Deliveries of S-70C, Black Hawk helicopters enhance mobility and rapid response. Future prospects include advanced fighters like Sweden's Saab Gripen, the American F-16 Viper Block 72, and India's Tejas light combat aircraft, each representing a leap forward in air power. But the most significant breakthrough came from India, the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile system. With Mach 2.8 speed and pinpoint accuracy, it gives the AFP a potent deterrent edge. A second delivery was completed in April 2025, with plans underway to procure up to 9 additional BrahMos batteries. Also under consideration, India's Akash surface-to-air missile system and the US-made HIMARS rocket artillery platform, both critical for layered defense. Modern conflict doesn't stop at borders. Recognizing this, the AFP launched a 35.5 billion pesos cybersecurity initiative in partnership with Israeli firm Realeye.ai, an essential step towards securing national infrastructure and military networks in an age where digital battles can decide real-world outcomes. None of this would be possible without strong international partnerships, chief among them the United States. Washington has restored $500 million in military aid and reaffirmed its commitment under the Mutual Defense Treaty, a clear signal of support and deterrence. This marks a historic turning point. No longer defined solely by internal struggles, the Philippines is emerging as a proactive maritime power. With renewed purpose, modern capabilities, and deepening alliances, the nation is charting a bold course, one that safeguards sovereignty, strengthens regional stability, and redefines its role in the Indo-Pacific. The Philippines is making bold moves to secure its maritime domain. With growing tensions in the South China Sea and beyond, Manila is investing in new naval infrastructure that could shift the regional balance, starting with 2 strategic locations, Subic Bay in Luzon and Misamis Oriental in Mindanao. Let's begin with Subic Bay. Once home to the second-largest U.S. military base in the world, Subic is now staging a powerful comeback. The groundbreaking of Naval Station Nabasan marks a pivotal step in this transformation. This new facility will feature a 180-meter-long wharf with a depth of 14 meters, just off Grande Island, giving the Philippine Navy direct, rapid access to the contested waters of the South China Sea. And it doesn't stop there. The former U.S. Naval Air Station at QB Point is being eyed as a forward operating base, perfect for launching surveillance and reconnaissance missions, especially over flashpoints like Scarborough Shoal. But here's the challenge. Existing Subic facilities have been described as inadequate for supporting the entire Philippine fleet. The message is clear. Modern infrastructure is no longer optional. It's urgent. U.S. support has been crucial. At Oyster Bay Naval Detachment, American funding has helped build new operational facilities and a gantry crane, improving the base's logistics and resupply capability. And it doesn't end there. By 2026, the U.S. Navy plans to lease a 57,000 square foot warehouse near Subic and Clark. Even more ambitious, a larger climate-controlled facility is being proposed, signaling long-term U.S. logistical coordination in the region. Now to the south. In Misamis Oriental, Mindanao, the Philippines is constructing a new naval support base, a game-changer for maritime presence in the Sulu and Celebes seas. Why does this matter? Because these waters are maritime choke points, essential for trade, and increasingly vulnerable to illegal fishing, piracy, and even Chinese warship transits. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. stressed the importance of this new facility, saying it will allow a smooth transition of forces from Cavite, boosting the Navy's range, flexibility, and Southern Command capabilities. Already, joint exercises with U.S. Marines are underway here, deepening alliance readiness in case of maritime escalation. This isn't a new alliance, it's a renewed one. Rooted in the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty, reinforced by the 1998 Visiting Forces Agreement, and expanded through the 2014 Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, known as EDCA, the U.S.-Philippine Security Pact is deeper than ever. As of 2023, EDCA now covers 9 strategic locations, from Luzon to Palawan, turning the archipelago into a key hub of Indo-Pacific deterrence. And in May 2023, new bilateral defense guidelines made it crystal clear: any armed attack in the South China Sea now activates mutual defense obligations. That's not just rhetoric, that's policy. At Subic Bay, the U.S. is laying down foundations, literally. By 2026, Washington will have leased a 57,000 square foot warehouse designed to support both humanitarian aid and forward-deployed military operations. New naval piers are being constructed. Infrastructure for the Philippine Navy is expanding. Logistics pipelines are being fortified. And on the military drills front, Balikatan 2025 shattered records. Over 14,000 troops from multiple countries participated in one of the largest joint exercises ever held on Philippine soil. The drills included missile defense simulations, deployment of cutting-edge U.S. weaponry, and real-world rehearsals for regional conflict. To many observers, this renewed American presence is a direct response to Beijing's increasingly aggressive maritime behavior. Freedom of navigation operations, FONOPs, by U.S. warships, continue to challenge China's sweeping claims in the South China Sea. Both U.S. and Philippine officials have underscored a shared goal: deterrence through presence, and a commitment to upholding international law. China, unsurprisingly, is not pleased. Beijing has warned that these moves undermine regional peace, accusing the U.S. of a history of broken promises. Tensions escalated further with recent espionage concerns. Philippine authorities arrested Chinese nationals allegedly spying on U.S. naval activity at Subic Bay, adding a cloak-and-dagger twist to an already tense maritime chessboard.
Security is beefed up in military camps and key facilities in the Philippines following the arrest of a suspected Chinese spy.
Philippine authorities announced the arrest of several Chinese nationals as part of their crackdown on a group allegedly conducting espionage operations.
Tinitignan po namin lahat ng connection nitong mga ito from the RAV4 na nakuha po natin yon, the Toyota Innova that we apprehended, we captured last year, the underwater unmanned. All of these devices, including the ones that we saw in the vehicles, are all data collecting devices. So as to the purpose of this, tinitignan po ho natin.
The return of U.S. forces to Subic Bay is more than a military maneuver. It's a geostrategic statement, a deterrent, a warning, and a declaration that the Philippines, with its ally at its side, is no longer willing to be pushed around in its own backyard. The Philippines now stands at a pivotal crossroads, forging an integrated transformation through sweeping defense modernization, the establishment of new naval bases, and a reinvigorated alliance with the United States. With U.S. investments in EDCA sites surpassing $210 million, and the record-setting 2025 Balikatan exercises involving over 14,000 troops, the message is clear. Manila is preparing for a new era of regional deterrence. The acquisition of advanced systems, like the BrahMos missiles and Mises integration, and upcoming Miguel Malvar-class frigates, reflects an evolving strategy to defend sovereignty and project strength. Philippine Army Chief underscores the enduring value of land power and alliances.
The armed forces of the Philippines has always been steadfast in fulfilling its mandate of protecting the people, securing the state, ensuring the integrity of our national territory, and upholding the sovereignty of our country. Guided by the values of honor, service, and patriotism, the dedication and sacrifices of the men and women of the armed forces of the Philippines transpire to make our nation stronger and safer.
While U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth reaffirms America's commitment to maintaining regional balance, yet challenges persist. China decries these moves as provocative, labeling the Philippines a pawn of foreign interests. Meanwhile, Manila's pursuit of submarines under Rehorizon 3 reveals a calculated ambition to complicate adversary planning. As experts warn of the growing risk of unintended clashes, the Indo-Pacific finds itself at a critical juncture, where the line between strategic deterrence and dangerous escalation grows ever thinner. Thank you for tuning in to our channel. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis of global issues.